Hello, my name is Jake Simonton, and I am going to be doing my presentation on using speech recognition assistive technology. The learning targets for my presentation on speech recognition assistive technology include the definition of speech recognition, voice-to-text, and voice recognition, historical development of speech recognition assistive technology, speech recognition assistive technology utilized within the writing process, guidelines for successful use of speech recognition for students with disabilities, challenges with speech recognition technology for students with disabilities in the writing process, and the best hopes and conclusion for utilizing speech technology with our students. The definition of speech recognition. Speech recognition is the ability of a machine or program to identify words and phrases in the spoken language and convert them into a machine-readable format. Sophisticated software has the ability to accept natural speech. The difference between speech recognition and voice recognition is prevalent, and these are often mistakenly interchanged. The purpose behind speech recognition is to arrive at the words that are being spoken, whereas the purpose of voice recognition is to identify the person who is speaking. The definition of voice-to-text. Voice-to-text is a specific type of speech recognition program that also converts spoken language to written language. And the historical development of speech recognition assistive technology began in the 1950s, believe it or not. The early baby talk, Bell Laboratories designed in 1952, the Audrey system, which recognized only digits spoken by a single voice. IBM introduced Shoebox, a machine at the 1962 World Fair that only understood 16 words spoken in English. In the 1970s, speech recognition started to take off. The U.S. Department of Defense Speech Understanding Research, or SUR, program from 1971 to 1976 was one of the largest of its kind in the history of speech recognition. It was responsible for a harpy that could understand over 1,000 words. In the 1980s, speech recognition turns toward prediction. So new statistical method known as the Hidden Markov Model, or HMM, considered the probability of unknown words being words, or unknown sounds being words. Speech recognition vocabulary jumped from about a few hundred words to several thousand words, and eventually to countless words. In the 1990s, automatic speech recognition comes to the masses in computers with faster processing speeds. Speech recognition software was accessible to ordinary people. Dragon launched the first consumer speech recognition product called Dragon Dictate for $9,000 in 1990. In 1997, Dragon Naturally Speaking, or DNS, arrived, and it cost the consumer $695. Dragon Naturally Speaking recognized continuous speech up to 100 words per minute. In the 2000s, the applications began to have no bounds. Google came along in 2001, leading to Google Voice search app for the iPhone. Google's app adds the data from billions of search queries to better predict what you're probably saying or going to say. In 2010 and 11, Google added voice recognition to Android phones and voice search to its Chrome browser. In the 21st century, now Siri or Alexa assist with any voice search using the cloud. So it's literally the sky or cloud is the limit. Speech recognition, again, started with 10 to 100 words in the 50s to thousands of words in the 70s, and now today Google's English voice search system uses 230 billion words from actual user queries within the cloud. Now, assisted speech recognition assisted technology and the writing process involves many components. The writing process involves pre-writing, drafting, editing, sharing, note-taking, and these writing process components can leverage many technology tools. For example, pre-writing can include graphic organizers, drafting can include word processing and speech recognition, editing and revising can include text-to-speech and grammar checking, sharing and publishing. There's word processing such as Microsoft Word. For note-taking, there's smart pens and mobile app devices. Specific to this presentation, though, I'm going to focus on the drafting technology tools. Specific to drafting technology tools, we are focused on the speech recognition tool, i.e. Dragon Naturally Speaking, DNS. And before we go any deeper into speech recognition tool, Dragon Naturally Speaking, we must consider guidelines for using speech recognition technology. That it can lead to success for students with disabilities, challenges that with using speech recognition technology for students with disabilities in the writing process. Speech recognition assisted technology in isolation is meaningless. Speech recognition assisted technology must come with training for using the technology, and it also must come with excellent content instruction. The speech recognition assisted technology in isolation will simply give void results if given to a student without any training. And it takes time to train and practice using assistive technology and to leverage this tool for the student while giving them the confidence in its use. To recall IDEIA 2004 from last week, there were two parts of legislation. Part 1 focused on assistive technology devices, whereas Part 2 of the definition focused on services and training for those devices, which is essential. Speech recognition assisted technology must come again with excellent content instruction. Once the student has been introduced to assistive technology, along with adequate time and training to practice using the tool, then excellent content instruction coupled with the training on the assisted technology tool will produce student learning. As just discussed, as it comes with training for using the technology and excellent content instruction, as well as students must initially be comfortable with using speech to text, including training to recognize their voices. Students must gain experience with a new way of writing, understanding the differences between writing and speaking. For students with learning disabilities, struggling readers and writers, this may introduce additional frustrations with the writing process. Additional considerations for speech recognition technology include just because speaking to write is an activity that requires different skills than speaking in conversation, students must be aware of the differences between the two. It is critical that the use of speech recognition technology be paired with instruction on writing strategies, brainstorming, drafting, and organization. Within our textbook, author Dell reviews additional complex task considerations when students utilize speech recognition technology. Students must think about what they will say in advance when using this tool, as well as speak the thought aloud, speak any punctuation and capitalization, read the monitor to see if it captured what they said, correct their writing if the program misunderstood, and resume their initial train of thought after this complex task. With the complex task of dictating into a microphone while the spoken words appear on the computer screen as text, one must consider this can only help a student whose oral language ability is better than their writing skills. When interviewing a student, Megan, from our textbook, about the process of learning to use Dragon Naturally Speaking, Megan stating, learning the program was like learning a second language. Initially, it was hard for her to even get short sentences and make sure the program was working. And it was hard to see herself talk into the computer and see instant results. Over time, better understanding of the program and how it worked, as well as how she could work with the program, improved her speed and accuracy, and the language of Dragon became second nature to her. Now, she uses multiple sentences without worrying about how the program is responding, and if a problem arises, she fixes it. The better I understand the challenges for my students to use speech recognition assisted technology, the higher levels of learning will take place. Utilizing sound training and adequate time in allowing my students to successfully use speech recognition assisted technology will be critical in this process. Besides the training process for speech recognition assisted technology, I must utilize, again, research-based instructional practices in my teaching and students the content that will allow them to be successful. Here are the resources that I used to put together this presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me.